tell me a bit about what's going on for you right now, because it does seem like you're a little busy. You've got Nikita on the go at the very least. What's happened like?
Nikita is a grind of a shoot. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's very physical. A lot of fighting and action, and everything is high stakes, so there's really not a chance to relax. But that's kind of how you want it. You know, if you want it to be fast paced, you don't have a lot of time to think. You just get to, you know, do it and move on to the next thing. But it's a great time. It's a great show. Awesome cast. I mean, I get to play Navy SEAL who you know, repels from ceilings shooting people with a machine gun, and I get to save the hot girl and be the hero, so it's been a lot of fun.
And I mean, obviously you must love the action as much as the fact that it's, I mean, it's nice it's filmed in Toronto, and it's nice that it's, I mean, it's been a big deal. I mean, everywhere I turn I think I hear something about Nikita.
Yeah, they shoot a lot all over the city.
Yeah.
So I'll be driving on days where I'm not even working, just walking around the city, and I'll run into them on the street somewhere. They shoot a lot over on the East End, and they're right now they're in Hamilton shooting. I have the day off, so that's good.
But it must be interesting being back from LA and.
Yeah, I moved to LA to book a pilot, book a TV show, and then I ended up getting a show that shoots back in Toronto. And the way it worked out is I just happened to be in town. I was here just visiting my family. I was going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro with my dad, actually. He wanted to go on a mountain climbing, you know, family bonding trip. And they happened to be casting Nikita here in Toronto.
Right.
So my manager said, I know you're going on this trip, but if you don't mind, just a quick audition for Nikita. I was like, sure, I guess, but I don't really think I want to, you know, I think I'm taking a break from acting for the next month or so. He's like, just go in. So I went in, and because I was relaxed and I didn't really care, of course I booked it. And the way it worked out, because it happened so fast, it was such a quick turnaround, I didn't really have a chance to look for a place.
Right.
I still had my place in LA. So I was kind of like, it was kind of the exact opposite thing that you hear from most people. I was like, Dad, I got a job, can I move back in with you? So it's kind of, because I got the job, I had to move back in with my parents. So
wow,
it was interesting, yeah.
Well, I mean, and as well, I mean, you did the web series down in LA. Are you doing it here too?
The Living in LA with Dillon Casey.
I mean, are you going to do Living in Toronto?
You know what? The thing about that show is that it's like borderline therapeutic for me. Not borderline, it is therapeutic for me. So it's like when something, if you've noticed, if you watch the show, you notice that there's always kind of a bit of a negative undertone to it that's spun in a positive way. So it's like whenever something kind of shitty happens to me that has to do with being in LA or Hollywood or in the entertainment industry, I always would take that and spin it into something funny for the show. The thing is, I've been having a pretty good time lately in the industry, so that has kind of like left me with not many ideas for that show. I'm still
filming in winter in Toronto. I don't know.
Filming in winter. I mean, I can't complain. It's like, as an actor, if you're like, oh man, it's so cold on the television show that I'm on, other actors will be like, screw you, man, you got a TV show, that's awesome. So you got to pick the things that you're going to complain about. So I don't think that me complaining about the show that I'm currently on is going to be received very well. I did one episode kind of talking about the irony of the fact that I had to move back home with my dad after I got the job that I've been looking for. That's, what is it called again? Like, I forget what it's called, but you can see that we're outside shooting in like a blizzard right in front of my dad's place. And
right.
The whole thing is that, oh yeah, I'm roommates with my dad now, working on Nikita. So I did actually do an episode, but since then I haven't really been able to think of anything. But if something comes up, I just kind of know it.
Right.
It happens on its own, you know.
So in terms of preparing for this role, I mean, it's obviously physical. Mm-hmm. What do you do to do this role? I mean, you train, but I mean, do you also do like stunt work? I mean, how much of the stunts do you do?
I do as many of the stunts
as they'll let
me do, and I always ask. You know, I'll always ask if I can do a certain thing, and you know, 9 times out of 10 they won't let me, or they'll cover it with a stuntman, because there's certain techniques to, you know, falls and taking hits that they can just do better because they have the training, you know. They're just better than me at doing it. So as much as I do train, I've always tried to stay in pretty good shape. But for this role, because he's a Navy SEAL, Navy SEALs aren't like big, muscular bodybuilder types. Right. They're thin. They're long distance runners. They can swim long distances. They're very functional. So I've had to sort of change from doing heavy weights into a lot of running, chin-ups, push-ups, mimicking the sort of stuff that they do when they're going through their training camp. Because as a really big guy, you wouldn't be able to make it as a SEAL. You would never make it through the training. So a lot of functional training, a lot of CrossFit type things, and the stunts. I have some experience fighting, a little mixed martial arts, but they always cover it. The stuntmen always do it just in case they need something to cut to.
That's so funny.
Sure, yeah.
Do you? This is the second time we've had a Nikita show filmed again in Toronto too. Even. Were you familiar with the original?
Well, the Femme Nikita was on when I was like a preteen, I think. So I would always I remember I would always watch it, and it always seemed to me like a show that might have some nudity in it. So I think I always watched it looking for like a boob flash or something from Peter Wilson. Or Alberta Watson, I guess, who ended up playing my mom in this show. So I didn't really know too much about the show, but I knew that it was a popular show, and that the movie itself was very popular. So yeah.
And then otherwise, I'm curious. You've called yourself kind of a nerd. What's the deal with that? What kind of a nerd are you?
I guess it's the new thing these days is for people to call themselves nerd. It's like a cool thing to be.
Which seems so.
Where did I see that? And I think I saw it in like a Portlandia episode recently where it's like, do not call yourself a nerd unless you're a nerd. Now I feel stupid for saying it, but it's just because I don't know. I'm really into. I went to McGill. I did a science degree. I've always been really into science, biology, chemistry. Then I did a degree in economics. I've always really been into RPGs like King's Quest, Space Quest, Monkey Island.
I think you qualify as a nerd.
Are those my favorite games, man? Like I would spend my Friday nights just like playing King's Quest.
Wow.
I have to force myself to be social, and I'm not that good at many sports. I am. Well, no, that's not true. I just don't really play many sports.
Right.
Squash is my favorite sport, so that's not the most popular thing in the world. So I don't know. I think it's just kind of it's like how I see myself and how I actually am are two very different things. Yeah.
Well, otherwise, what else is coming up for you?
Well, there's this film that I shot called Only I, which is a mixed martial arts film coming out soon. Then I'm headed off to Europe to do a comedy series, and there's a few other things that I'm not really allowed to talk about right now, so I get in trouble. But so everything's looking good.
So a bit of action and a bit of other stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely some. I've always loved doing comedy.
Right.
I did Second City here in Toronto, Groundlings in LA, and UCB, and my brothers. If you go to our website, caseybrothers.ca, you can see that we have a bunch of short films, and they're all pretty comedically oriented. So I love that side of it, and I'm hoping to do a little more of that.
Do you have a preference? Do you prefer doing action, or do you prefer doing the comedy? It seems like you almost prefer doing the comedy. From what I've seen, at least.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Right now, I don't really have a preference. I love doing comedy. I love watching people watch comedies because they laugh. You know if they like it or not, because whether or not they're laughing. With drama, you're not really too sure. It's like, people are just making serious faces, then afterwards they'll tell you that they liked it, but you never actually believe them. So it's like, I think I like comedy because you get a response, it's like, if it's working or not. But I don't know if I really have a preference right now. I'm sort of just enjoying getting better at both of them.
Cool, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.